Hey, good morning to you. Excuse me. Got some morning allergies happening. Hey, what's happening? This is Oz on Smash Bros Radio. I don't know what happened to my little hickey doodle back in the back. Let me show you. Live television is wonderful, ain't it, folks? I'm learning, I'm learning, I'm learning, I'm learning, I'm learning, I'm learning, I'm learning. There we go. Live radio. What can you do? What can you do? What's happening? Hey, this is Oz on Smash Bros Radio, the only digital award-winning radio station located in Birmingham, Alabama. What's up? You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Instagram as well as YouTube and Facebook. Please like, follow, and share. And if you've not done so, please, 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 please download our app. We would deeply appreciate you. As for me, you can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitter. So appreciate you stopping in. Appreciate you stopping in. Got two. One event is gone, and that was the teaching the young men, young boys how to do maintenance on their cars. That was Sunday. That was Sunday. That was Sunday. Now we have three remaining. We have the Mommy Brunch, which has been sold out. Congratulations. Appreciate you doing that. And we have also May 18th and 19th coming up. You have the barbershop basketball tournament 5-on-5, youth and adult competition. You have live DJs, entertainment, food trucks, pizza party, as well as a carnival. Kids are $10, adults are $15 for both days. Contact the participating shops for tickets. There will be trophies and rings. Also, for more information, you can call 205-200-9423. 205-200-9423. 1600 4th Court West. The four participating shops are, let me see if I can enlarge this. Main Attraction Barber and Style. Then you have 1011 Honor. Then you have the shop on 78, and then you have LINK, capital D, up, linked up, cuts and styles. So please, 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 it's a chance of getting everybody together and enjoying themselves. So please check them out. Oz is a proud sponsor of the Southern Billy Showdown Part 2 that is being presented by 1888 Bully Kennel, which the owner is DeJuan Hall. November 9th, 2024 at the Bessemer Civic Center, 1130 9th Avenue, Southwest, Bessemer. There are going to be 4 ICBR shows, so please come out and participate. Listen, if you are a vendor, if you are if you wish to sponsor, if you wish to donate, if you wish to participate, get in touch with DeJuan Hall. You can contact him at 205-460-6435, 205-460-6435. You can also find him on Facebook, DeJuan Hall. So please come out, support him. We would appreciate you tremendously. Appreciate you tremendously. We got a lot of student protests going on because of what's happening over in Gaza. And it's really getting heated up. And I find it totally pathetic. I find it unacceptable. I find it close to criminal. I find it close to venomous that the attitudes from the Zionists, the attitudes from the politicians that we have in the United States. And what bothered me the most was when the Speaker of the House had the audacity.
Control of it on the university campus. There is an appropriate time for the National Guard to be involved.
What do you think about the shooting at Kent? People weren't behaving properly, and apparently they have for that sort of thing. So you think the guard was justified?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry they didn't keep more.
Really?
Yes, because they were warned and they knew what was happening and they should have moved out.
If that's what it took to break them up, well, then that's what it takes. right after the shooting, we were ordered off campus. We had to leave. So I got home. My mother wasn't there. My father walked in the back door and he looks at me and he says, they should have shot all of them. And I said to him, and I never talked back to my father, I said, don't you know then that one of them, those people would have been me? And he just walked into the other room.
The 2 young women and 2 young men killed yesterday are described by those who knew them as quiet and not at all radical or revolutionary. Sandy Schroeder was 20 from Youngstown, Ohio, not much interested in politics and mainly liked to cook. Jeffrey Miller was 20 from Plainview, New York. William Schrader of Lorain, Ohio. Allison Krause, 19, from Pittsburgh. Today, her father read, because she disagreed with someone else's opinion. She felt that war in Cambodia was wrong. Is this dissent a crime? Is this a reason for killing her? Have we come to such a state in this country that a young girl has to be shot because she disagrees deeply with the actions of her government?
See, we have the tendency to use such flag words, to use such alarming words such as radical and revolutionary, because of individuals who do not have the same opinion that the others do, the ones who are empowered us. The individual that the father was talking about was Nixon. Nixon had called those individuals who were protesting because of the Vietnam War. He had the audacity to call those participants bums. Student participants were also called radicals and revolutionaries, because you have to understand, no one really knew what was transpiring in Vietnam and Cambodia. No one over here understood the travesties that were happening, the period, the type of activities that were going on over in Vietnam and Cambodia back during the 70s and before the 70s. No one could not even comprehend the level of grievances that were transpiring over in Vietnam and Cambodia. And it wasn't until television came into play that everyone finally got to see exactly what was transpiring, exactly what was happening. Everyone got to witness what the soldiers had to deal with over in Vietnam and Cambodia. We had no business being in Vietnam and Cambodia. Had no business at all. None whatsoever. And it was getting to the point to where it was encompassing everything. There were individuals who entire families were sent over to Vietnam. So the media, television, was able to showcase, was able to put into view, to bring into focus exactly what was transpiring over in Vietnam. You cannot imagine the paranoia. You cannot imagine the mental illness in which the soldiers went through once they came back. And because of what we finally got to see, it caused a lot of protests. Under Kennedy, under Johnson's administration, there's a reluctance. And then it was handed to Nixon, who was impeached. And then when he was impeached, his vice president pardoned him. Similar to what's happening today, isn't it? You have an idiot who is being brought up on charges. We have an idiot that we know has given information to our enemies. We know that the relationship that this idiot, and I'm talking about Trump, orange tangerine idiot, we know how evil he is. We know exactly how unrighteous he is. We know that he has nothing for anyone except for himself. So you have an incident that happened over at Kent State, over in Ohio. This comes from kent.edu. Search for at the May 4th shooting at Kent State University, the search for historical accuracy by Jerry M. Lewis and Thomas R. Hensley. On May 4th, 1970, members of the Ohio National Guard fired into a crowd of Kent State University demonstrators, killing 4 and wounding 9 Kent State students. The impact of the shootings were dramatic. The event triggered a nationwide student strike that forced hundreds of colleges and universities to close. H.R. Haldeman, a top aide to President Richard Nixon, suggests the shootings had a direct impact on national politics. In The Ends of Power, written by Haldeman in 1978, he states that the shooting at Kent State began to slide into Watergate, eventually destroying the Nixon administration. Beyond the direct effects of the May 4th, the shootings certainly come to symbolize the deep political and social division that so sharply divided the country during the Vietnam War era. In the nearly 3 decades since May 4th of 1970, a luxurious literature has developed analyzing the events of May 4th and the aftermath. Some books were published quickly, providing a fresh but frequently superficial or inaccurate analysis of the shootings. May 4th, 1970. In what is transpiring now with the genocide over in Gaza is a reflection, is a mirror, is a repeat, hopefully not, of what is happening with the universities and the colleges here now. For the Speaker of the House to have the audacity to say that if something is not taken care of quickly, and I paraphrase it, well, then maybe the National Guard should come in. That's frightening. That's frightening for the National Guard to be called in. Now, understand, the protesters were not destroying anything. They were protesting peacefully. Peacefully. There was no threat to anyone. And then fast forward to now, for the Zionists, for the European Jews that are not true Jews, for them to feel threatened, for them to lie, for them to bully is unacceptable. Is unacceptable. Biden is in the midst of a crisis that he may not survive. people would wonder, well, why was the National Guard called to Kent State? The decision to bring the Ohio National Guard onto the Kent State University campus was directly related to decisions regarding American involvement in the Vietnam War. Richard Nixon was elected president in the United States in 1968, based in part on his promise to bring an end to the war in Vietnam War and bring an end to the war in Vietnam. During the first year of Nixon's presidency, Americans' involvement in the war appeared to be winding down. In late April of 1970, however, the United States invaded Cambodia and widened the Vietnam War. This decision was announced on national television and radio on April 30th, 1970 by President Nixon, who stated that the invasion of Cambodia was designed to attack the headquarters of the Viet Cong, which had used Cambodian territory as a sanctuary. We were at a disadvantage going into Vietnam because you were dealing with individuals who were aware of their territory, who were aware of their land. There was tunnels dug all over the place in Vietnam and Cambodia. There were traps that were set in the forest, and these traps were horrendous. They either cut people in half, or people fell into pits with bamboo spears. It was horrendous. You couldn't tell the difference between a Vietnamese and Viet Cong. So it wasn't anything unusual for the Viet Cong to set up traps, of human traps, of women carrying babies, and all of a sudden they exploded. Men came back paranoid. So back then, you had an unrest. There was no reason for us to be in Viet Cong. There was no reason for us to invade Cambodia because there was no reason to be in Vietnam. Nixon was a crook. Nixon had no business being elected president into just like Trump. Protests occurred the next day, Friday, May 1st, across United States college campuses where anti-war sentiment ran high. At Kent State, an anti-war rally was held at noon on the Commons, a large grassy area in the middle of the campus which had traditionally been the site for various types of rallies and demonstrations. Fiery speeches against the war and the Nixon administration were given. A copy of the Constitution was buried to symbolize the murder of the Constitution because Congress had never declared war, and another rally was called for noon on May 4th, Monday. Now understand that. If you knew the Constitution, if these individuals knew what the Constitution said, and it's similar to today. War was never declared. Congress never declared war. Congress never declared war. So how could it be a war? And then you have to fast forward because now the politicians are using the same escape when it comes to the veterans services, the veterans benefits, because now they're saying that, well, it was never declared a war. How do you have the gall, the audacity, the nerve to tell someone that you purposely sent over to fight a war that was not declared a war, that Congress did this, The federal government did this, and now the soldiers are coming back asking for benefits, but it wasn't declared a war. Well, why in the hell were you sent over there then? Why were they sent? And we're seeing it today. We're seeing it today. It is a mirror, it is a reflection how stupid our politicians have become, how our federal government is being manipulated by these outside forces, by these Zionists. You have the prime minister of Israel, of really Palestine. I hate to use the word Israel because I don't see Israel, the state of Israel, as Israel. I see it as Palestine. But so no confusion is created. It is a travesty for the prime minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, to come and to have a stage, to have the audacity to criticize us because of our constitutional right, and to be allowed the opportunity to have this stage to bully us. We are going to hell. That's what it comes down to. We're definitely going to hell. Friday evening in downtown Kent began peacefully with the usual socializing in the bars, but events quickly escalated into a violent confrontation between protesters and local police. The exact causes of the disturbance are still the subject of debate, but bonfires were built in the street of downtown Kent, cars were stopped, police cars were hit with bottles, and some store windows were broken. The entire Kent police force was called to duty, as well as officers from the county and surrounding communities. Kent Mayor Leroy Stratton declared a state of emergency, called Governor James Rhodes' office to seek assistance, and ordered all the bars closed. The decision to close the bars early increased the size of the angry crowd. Police eventually succeeded in using tear gas to disperse the crowd from downtown, forcing them to move several blocks back to campus. The next day, Saturday, May 2nd, Mayor Stratton met with other city officials and a representative of the Ohio State Guard who had been dispatched to Kent. The mayor then made the decision to ask Governor Rhodes to send the Ohio National Guard to Kent. The mayor feared further disturbances in Kent based upon the events of the previous evening. But more disturbing to the mayor were threats that had been made to downtown businesses and city officials, as well as rumors that radical revolutionaries were in Kent to destroy the city and the university. The mayor feared that local forces would be inadequate to meet the potential disturbance. And this, about 5 p.m., he called the governor's office to make an official request for assistance. Members of the Ohio National Guard were already on duty to be mobilized, quickly moved to Kent. As the guard arrived in Kent around 10 p.m., they encountered a tremendous scene. The wooden OZZz building adjacent to the Commons was ablaze and would eventually burn to the ground. On Sunday, May 3rd, was a day filled with contrast. Nearly 1,000 Ohio National Guardsmen occupied the campus, making it appear like a military war zone. The day was warm and sunny. However, the students frequently talked with the guardsmen. Ohio Governor James Rhodes flew to Kent at the conclusion of the anti-war rally on Friday, May 1st. Student protesters had called for another rally to be on the 4th. We do not want another incident similar to what has transpired in Kent. And what is more frightening is May 4th is coming. May 4th. And this is, so you're talking 30 years. 30 years. United States has no business being a sponsor, being an accomplice to what is transpiring in Israel. because of TikTok bringing exactly what is transpiring in Israel, we were able to see exactly what the Palestinians had dealt with for over 70 plus years. 70 plus years. And then the Western media is an accomplice because they did not keep up with it. And why did they not keep up with it? And why did not report it? Because a Zionist, a fake ass Jew, has power on what is given and what is not given out by the media. You have APAC, which was at one time, and who is giving Congress money. The bribing is a bribe. It's really when it comes down to it, when a lobbyist gives money, gives trips, gives dinners, it is a bribe for their support, the congressman support, the senator's support. It has to stop. The Zionists are scared because finally we're finding and understanding that we've been lied to. We should have never believed in Israel anyway. And the thing that I'm most proud of is when the Zionists here in Birmingham had the audacity to say that Professor Dr. Angela Davis should not be given the Fred Shuttlesworth Award because of her involvement in Palestine. And you have to understand, Dr. Davis was involved in support of the Palestinians back in the 60s when it was not favorable, and it's still not favorable. The Congress is trying to come up with a bill in which it would be against the law to be anti-Semitic, and that word is being used out of context. I can't be called an anti-Semitic because I talk about everybody. I talk about whites. I talk about every culture you got out there. If there's any, in my opinion, and from what I have read, if you're doing something wrong, I'm gonna call you out. So I can't be an anti-Semitic because I'm against everybody. That's wrong. But the Zionists have finally been unveiled, uncovered, discovered, and their evil plots are being brought forth. So what do? We vote those individuals who have supported Israel, whether you're Democrat or Republican, and we put individuals who are conscientious of exactly what is transpiring. Because these old ass motherfuckers that are still in Congress and in the Senate, they need to go. And if they're not old, Terry Sewell needs to go. If Terry Sewell has voted for Israel, she needs to go. Anyone, whether you're Democrat or Republican, if you have voted in support of giving billions of dollars to Ukraine, billions of dollars to Israel, they need to be voted out. We do not need another incident similar to Kent State to occur. And the only difference between then and now, you are going to have a huge problem if anything transpires out of extraordinary, because these students are not going to take it. So remember Kent State on the 4th. Pray that we do not go through what has transpired during the Vietnam and Cambodia War, because now Israel has bombed Raja, which they should not have bombed. They are no better than Hitler. They're no better than Hitler. The Zionist, the Zionist, the Zionist, the modern, the European Jews are not Jews. The Zionists are not Jews. Understand what I have stated. The Zionists are not true Jews. They're modern European Jews. They have no business being in Palestine. They need to go back to where they came from, to whatever country put them out. They need to go back to their country of origin. Palestinians have been there for many years. Palestine was a beautiful country at one time to where you had this huge collection of cultures that lived homogeneously together, who opened their arms, who opened their lands, who opened their hearts to these Zionists, to these refugees. See, that's why you have to be careful about who you invite to your house, who you invite into your house, because they may never leave. But please be more conscientious. Please be more aware of exactly what is transpiring around you, because you may not think that it has anything to deal with you, but it does. It does. I appreciate you. Appreciate you stopping in. Enjoy your Monday. And again, if you have not done so, please like, follow, share, and subscribe. We appreciate you. Know your value. Know your worth. Know you control everything about you. And most importantly, know that I love you more than I love my luggage. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.